Okay, welcome to D&D with high school students, back by popular demand. I have Samantha.
Hi.
Samantha, we when you stepped in to fill in for Matthew that one time, you did really well, and a bunch of the fans were like, Samantha should join the cast. Ooh. So now she is.
Ah.
And then somebody was like, actually, there was one person who specifically said she should make a cat person rogue. Yes. And so in this book called Volo's Guide, there's a race called the Tabaxi, and I'm from Chicago, so I pronounce it Tabaxi. How do we say that with more of a...
Tabahi.
Tabahi. I like that. It's a little more authentic. All right. So when this idea came out, you were so... It was like a perfect fit.
I was so excited.
Okay.
Love it.
So we decided to make your Tabahi.
Tabahi.
A rogue. And a rogue is a specialist. They have a lot of different skills. They're stealthy. They're sneaky, which kind of fit totally with the vibe you wanted to go for.
Yeah. It was cool.
Now, every character, in addition to their race and their class, you're a rogue, you're level 3, has a background. And this is where your background comes in. Before we roll up your dice, we're going to talk about your background. So the noble background is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And here's where it lends itself to a story, okay? You're from a noble family of Tabai. Okay. You're very proud. Like, you have a long lineage in this continent. Your people came down from the mountains in the center of the continent hundreds of years ago and established themselves as allies to the theocracy in Kabul Kailash. And they have sacred duties. For one, they are protectors of the sacred water of Makata Suv, which is a big lake, a freshwater lake, that people are not allowed to have boats in or fish in or drink from because they believe that the water comes from the goddess Vusek herself.
Whoa.
And your family actually has a large estate with like a mansion and soldiers and stuff who assist in protecting that lake. Oh, so twice a year, the family sends people to the capital to meet with representatives of the theocracy, of the government, and holy men and stuff like that. Okay. So you're on that pilgrimage, and along the way you discovered some very strange things because it's the sacred lake is to the east of the capital. So in your travel towards the capital, you encountered some very strange things. One of which was you found a caravan of pilgrims who are also making their way to the capital, but you found this caravan decimated. Like, the wagons were rolled, there was dead bodies everywhere.
Oh my God.
Right? All this stuff. Things burnt up. And because you're so good at like tracking and stuff like that, you were able to find that there was it was a raid from these barbarians. And there's a group of dwarven barbarians who are called the Quotient, and they basically live like cavemen. Like they're covered in mud, they're very primitive, they have like stone weapons, and they roam the countryside basically like raiding, okay? So you track this down to this camp, and while you track them down to the camp, there were too many of them for you to take on by yourself, right? But you kind of followed them. And as you followed them, you noticed they were going in the same direction you were going, towards the capital. And then about a day outside of the capital, you followed them to this valley where you saw a horde of the barbarians, like 400 of them, right? So this is a big thing. Like, this doesn't happen all the time. This is like a bunch of barbarian smaller tribes and clans joining together to form a horde. So you went ahead to the capital.
Yeah.
And you met up with the theocracy and you told them about it. And just around the same time, there was another group of people telling them about it. And so you were welcomed into the theocracy, and you know, as a guest and a noble, you have a place to stay. So as far as you know, that got quelled. That situation got handled because the theocracy sent out like a bunch of armed soldiers and knights to go fight off this barbarian horde and break it up before it gets like a lot of, causes a lot of problems. So you're in the city, you're in the capital, right? And you're there to meet with people, but it's also like a holy month because it's like the fall equinox, and it's when all the gods are celebrated and venerated. And there's a lot of parades and celebrations and all these different temples and small shrines and people all over the place. And it kind of comes like a festival. It's like it's like Easter meets Mardi Gras combined with the 4th of July. Whoa. It's like a little bit of every kind of holiday mixed in, right? So you're in the temple district, and you notice this like parade of people going by, which is pretty common. But you notice like one of the people that you see in the parade is very suspicious, and you just get this kind of perceptive feeling like something's not right. And one of the things is that, first of all, the person in the crowd is wearing this big black cloak with a hood, and they've, like, you can't even see their face. Like, the hood comes down all the way over their face. And the way they're walking is very, like, stiff and unnatural. But, like, the other people in the parade that are walking along with, like, the statues and carrying all the icons and the candles and stuff, and they're singing hymns, they don't really notice this because there's so many people, right? But you kind of notice it, and it's weird, so you're, like, following this dude.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to pick off when we play the next game. Now, before we do that, though, we have to roll up your character.
Okay.
So every character in D&D has strength. That's their physical strength. They have dexterity. That's kind of their agility, their speed, how swift they are.
Okay.
Constitution's like their health, their endurance. How long can you hold your breath? How much pain can you take? It's actually literally like your health. How well you can fight off diseases or poison.
Yeah.
Intelligence is like your book smarts, like
Okay.
how your IQ, your intellect, like how you can do logic and reasoning. Wisdom is more of your instincts, like the experiences that you've had overall. Some would call it like your common sense or your intuition or your instincts. And that's also linked to your perception too, right? Your five senses. The last one is charisma. That's the force of your personality, the strength of your personality. Some people associate with like your looks, but it's not necessarily how good looking you are. It's more like how persuasive you are, how much people are willing to believe in you or follow you.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. So the most important things for you is probably dexterity,
Yeah.
because you want to be swift, you want to be fast so that you could do all your different skills. But everything else kind of has its own importance for its own reason.
Okay.
So when I'm doing the rolls, the way we do this is, I'm going to let you choose either these 4 dice or these 4 dice. But you're going to roll 4 dice, okay? Now, twice in these 6 rolls, I'm going to let you re-roll ones, and you get to choose. So, like, for this example, I rolled a 5, 4, 2, and a 1. You could choose to do that now and re-roll the 1 as many times as you roll a 1. This is incredible. All right, so in that case, I would have the best 3. I'd pick the best 3. So 5, 4, and 2, so 11. Okay. Now, you might want to roll the first 4 rolls and just see how it's going, but at some point in the total of 6 rolls, I will let you re-roll ones twice. Okay. Everything else you roll and you take the best 3. So in this case, it would be 6, 6, 2. Right. All right. So I'm going to let you roll.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're just going to write the numbers down like in the margin over here
Okay.
after each roll. Okay. So go ahead. Off to a good start. So 5, 5, 4. So 14. So write that down in the margin. Okay. Yes. That's
17.
beast. 17. So obviously 18 is the highest you can roll. So you are killing it right now. So, and then we're going to add modifiers before we write these in because as a tabahi, you get a bonus to dexterity and charisma.
Ooh, okay.
Nice. All right, now, remember this whole reroll 1 things? This is a prime example because you got 2 1s. So you get to reroll them both. That was a 6. So you have a 6, 4, and then 2 1s. So reroll those. Okay, not bad. That's still better than the 1s.
Yeah.
So 13. So that's one of your rerolls. Okay. So you got 3 more. All right, good. 15. Killing it. Those are real good rolls.
I charged up the dice.
So, do you want to use your reroll 1 on that? Because you got a 5, 5, 3, which is a 13. That's not bad. Or do you want to save it for the very last roll? And you might not roll 1s on the very last roll, so it's your choice.
Wisdom again?
Well, remember, it's not going in this order.
Oh, okay.
So we can reassign everything to wherever we want it to go. So it really...
I might just save it.
Okay, so 13. I'll tell you what, if you don't roll any 1s in this last roll, I'll let you re-roll that last one, because I know you got 2 5s. All right, so this is a good example. There's a 13, so don't erase that. Just re-roll the 1 from the previous roll, because you had 2 5s. Oh, 13, see? So write it down. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. Okay, so now you look at those rolls. You got 14, 17, 13, 15, 13, 13. Those are really good. Like, that's way above average across the board. Your highest roll
was dexterity.
is dexterity. You get to add 2. Now, what I'm going to explain to you is this. if you put that 17 in dexterity, it becomes a 19, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. That might be the best way to go.
Okay.
To start off. Okay. So go ahead and write down 19. And then underneath that, in that little circle, write +4. You know, it's funny. There's a lot of people on the internet who think that it's the other way around, that you write the big number in the little circle and then the bonus in the top circle, but I don't care. All right. So put a little line through 17. So we know we use that.
Okay.
Now, you also get a +1 for charisma. So what I would say there is, look at your skills and like what you want to be able to do.
Okay.
Because basically that +1 in charisma could be, you could put any of the 13s in there and that would become a 14, which is pretty good. That gives you a +2. Or you could put the 15 in charisma. Okay. And that becomes a 16 and then you get a +3.
Charisma is like...
The skills that you have that would use charisma are persuasion. Okay. Now,
it says them right there.
Right. Now, the other thing is, though, is that you could very easily put that 15 into strength or constitution.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to...
The 13s all count as, if you don't put any number on them, any additional thing, the 13s all give you a +1.
Okay.
The 14 and the 15 give you a +2. But if you put the 15 into charisma, that bumps it up to 16, which gives you a +3. So it's a little bit of a bump.
Okay. I think...
Be honest with you,
Yeah.
there's so many other people in the party who have high charismas.
That's what I was thinking.
Beecher,
like, just
Matthew,
leave it.
Tony, they all have high charismas.
Yeah, that's what I
So
was thinking.
I might say
Like, put a 13
put a
in there?
13 in there, which becomes a 14, and now it's +2. Okay. So that leaves a 14 and a 15 as your next highest rolls.
Okay.
Strength is important for doing damage, but the weapons that you're using, your rapier,
I don't really need that much strength. I need
well, you don't, because it's a finesse weapon. And a
Yeah.
finesse weapon is a lightweight weapon that allows you to use your dexterity instead of strength,
Okay.
which is dope because you have a huge dexterity. So I don't know that strength's super important, but it does. I will tell you this. Strength does affect athletics.
Okay. I think...
And strength affects your damage from your claws. So if you put like... See, the thing is, the 15 and the 14 are either way, you're going to get a +2. So maybe put the 14 in strength and the 15 in constitution, because the constitution bonus will help you out with...
and then 13 in these two.
Yeah, 13 in each one of those, and those are all +1s. And that's still rock solid. Like, those are killer rolls. Okay, now we're going to go through and plug in numbers, right? So these are your saving throws. Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Okay.
Anything that doesn't have a black dot to it, you just write down the bonus from that thing. So strength, +2. So write +2 on the line. Now what's your dex?
+4.
But because you have a black dot next to it, that means you have proficiency. So you add the +2 from this. So it's +6. Yes.
And then constitution is +2. Intelligence, would it be +3?
Yes. Okay. Now we're going to go through these. Okay. So as a rogue, you have this nice little thing called expertise. And what it means is you get to choose any of your proficiencies, any of these proficiencies that you get from being a rogue, or your thieves' tools. And you double the proficiency bonus for expertise.
Whoa.
Okay? So you said you want to be able to be sneaky, let's say. So that's kind of huge. So 2 of your skill proficiencies or 1 of your skill proficiencies and a proficiency with thieves' tool, and it's doubled. Okay, so one of those you might want to make stealth. Right? So write a little EX next to stealth. And that way we know it's expertise. Okay. Now you get to choose a second thing, or like I said, thieves' tools, to double your proficiency with expertise. You could choose acrobatics, athletics, history, investigation, perception, persuasion.
I feel like Persuasion might be good. Because I have... Wait. Maybe investigation. Because, like, I'm already sneaky. So then I would be able to investigate really well, too.
Okay. So write a little EX next to that. All right, so now we're going to go through and fill in all these.
Okay.
So acrobatics, see how it says dex in parentheses?
Yes.
So what you're going to do is take your +4, and because you have proficiency in it, add that. So that's +6. Okay.
Wisdom.
Now, just because you're not proficient in it doesn't mean you can't do it. So see how animal handling says wisdom?
Mm-hmm.
You don't add your proficiency bonus, but you still add the +1 from
The
wisdom.
+1.
Yeah, so
Okay.
write in +1.
Then plus... Would it be
+1 for Arcana.
for Arcana? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now athletics, you
Plus
get to add.
4.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
And deception.
Just straight up +2.
History would be +1.
Well, would it? Don't you have
No,
proficiency in it?
+3.
Uh-huh. So it's kind of
Smart.
cool that you have the history and the investigation side of things.
Mhm.
That's cool.
This would be +2, right? For
Mhm.
intimidation. Investigation would be +.
Okay,
3.
so this is where we figure it out, right? So your intelligence bonus is 1.
Okay.
But you're doubling this because you took expertise. So,
So it'd
it's
be
4 plus 1, it's +5.
Okay.
Which is awesome. Because I'm pretty sure nobody else in the party has investigation.
1 nature. That would be +1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perception +3, right?
Yep.
Okay. Persuasion would be +4.
Mm-hmm.
That would be +6?
Yes.
Oh my god. And then this one.
+8.
Oh, yes!
It's huge. Yeah, because
Oh
you
my
took
God, I'm gonna be a
expertise.
sneaky,
So
sneaky
you
little
are
person.
super stealthy.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we have all of your proficiencies done. We have all this done. Let's figure out what your weapon is. Okay, so when you attack with your rapier,
Yeah.
you have +4 for dex, +2 for proficiency. So write down +6 under attack bonus. And then
For both
the
that and
damage.
claws?
No, not yet.
Oh.
So the damage is going to be 1d8, 1 lowercase d8. +4, because you add your dex bonus. Okay, your claws is going to be your attacking with, and I think in the book they say that your claws are a natural attack weapon, which means they use strength.
Ooh.
I could see that for damage, but I feel like if you're a cat, you're really using your finesse more with your
Yeah.
claws. So let's say that it's +6, just like the rapier. Your damage is 1d4 +2.
Ooh.
So it doesn't do as much as your sword, your rapier, but in if you lost your weapon for some reason, you could still do damage, whereas a lot of other people can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Snap.
So there's a couple other things we have to do. So hit points is how much damage you can take before you go unconscious and die. So a rogue gets 1d8 per level plus their constitution bonus. Your constitution bonus is +2. So it's 10, 20, 30 because you're level 3. So you have 30 max hit points. So on this line, write down 30. Okay, your initiative bonus is based on your dex, so write +4. Okay, and because you're rich, you can wear studded leather armor, which is it's lightweight armor. The thing with a rogue is you don't want to wear heavy armor because heavy armor slows you down, and
Yeah.
it's also noisy, right? You can't be sneaky if
can't
you're
be
walking around in
stealthy.
like metal armor. So studded leather allows you to have 12 plus your dex modifier for your armor class. So under here, write down studded leather armor. And that makes your armor class 16. So write 16 up there because it's 12 plus your plus 4. Okay? I think that's it. I think you're ready to hunt down a scary guy with a cloak.
Yes.
You come up with your name, and then
I'm gonna look
next
that up right
time
now.
on D&D with high school students, we'll find out how the party reacts to this potential new ally,
person.
who is a Tabaki.
Tabahi.